Hi everyone, this is Ilina and welcome to another card video. Today I'm showing you another card idea using the Hero Arts August 2020, my monthly hero kit. So let's get started. I already had positioned the negatives into my MISTI from the die cuts from the kit, and I will stamp a few of them directly onto the die cuts. So what I do usually, this is what I do when I get a new stamp set. I just cut bunch of the dies and then I have them handy to stamp directly on them, and I save few of the negatives. Sometimes I go ahead and stamp all of them and then I have images ready to go for a quick card, or just have the dies and the die cuts and the negatives saved for future use. So let's get started. We're going to use this lady in the lounging chair. Also, we're going to use the little hanging, I'm not exactly sure what's called, like the seat where the cat will be sitting and the plant. So I'm just positioning the stamps in the die cut slots, the negatives, and making sure that they're centered and there's equal amount of that white border along the sides. So let's position one of the stamps. I pick it up with the door of the MISTI, and then I move to the other one. So for the smaller ones, I can do a couple at a times. But for this one, I just did one. So I'm doing two for the table and not the table, but the watering can and the cat. So I'm stamping here the watering can, but however, I did not end up using that one. I decided to go also with the glass of wine. I just pulled out the die cut there. I'm pulling out the stamp, positioning that one. I'll pick it up with the lid of the MISTI. And here the blue that you see in my MISTI, that's a low-tack uh, die cut mat that's used in electronic die cutting machines. So instead of taping everything down with like a microspore or purple tape, I decided to use the mat so everything keeps in place. So I'm using the Intens-ified black ink to stamp the images. I'm going a few times to have even coverage and nice and intense black images. So I think we're good with that, and I'm using my Poke tool to pull those out of their slots. So here we have the images that we're going to use. Next I have a panel of white cardstock, and I'm using one of the circle infinity dies to die cut a circle in the middle to create the scene. So I'm gonna cut this piece of cardstock down to 4 by 5 1/4. It was A2 size, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm gonna position my infinity die. So I'm securing that die using a piece of purple tape, and I will run it through my die cutting machine by matching a few to it. It's all cut. So now I'm just trying to figure out where I want all the elements to go. So I'm wanting to put that plant in the back, so here we go. And then I kind of lost my wine cup, so I will take the stamp, since I already removed it from my MISTI, and I'll stamp directly onto the die cut. Again, I'm using that Hero Arts Intens-ified black ink, just stamping on the side to see if I have nice coverage, and here we go. So that worked out fine. Usually I don't like eyeballing and stamping on top, directly on top of die cuts without using the MISTI. But for the small image like that, it worked fine. So next, let's move on to the coloring. I'm using alcohol-based markers. I'm using Copics and Spectrum Noir markers. To color my images, I'm gonna speed up here I'm just doing basic blending using two, three, or four colors for each shade. I'm just coloring it quickly. So I kind of skipped a bunch of the coloring here so you're not bored. So we're almost done here. As you can see, again, I skipped a little bit. But again, it's nothing special about the coloring, it's just basic blending using alcohol-based markers. I'm gonna color the flower pot, the plant pot here. I'm coloring it purple. Just blending with that lightest color. So I'm just adding the last finishing touches with the coloring to the wine glass and then the book. So I'm just adding some very pale kind of bright brick color. Next I trimmed another cut piece of another Dove white cardstock measuring 4 by 5 1/4. I'm blending some soft pull and tight pull inks using a blending brush. And I'm just checking to make sure that I have the effect I wanted to see for this card. So we have very kind of soft ink blending in the background to set the stage for the images. Next, we're just gonna stamp the sentiment. I'm using the creative corners to make sure that that's nice and straight. I'm using the Intens-ified black ink and my mini MISTI to stamp the sentiment. So now we have everything ready. We're just left with assembling the card. So I'm gonna use some foam tape to add all the elements, also adhere together those two layers. I'm just cutting pieces of foam tape to the size I need. So I think that looks nice and the height is nice. Just trying to figure out where I want that plant to go. So I wanted to go behind that seat with the cat, but because already I have adhered the seat and there's the foam tape on the back, I'm using the negative of the die cut to mark the piece of that plant that goes behind that, and then I'm gonna trim it off. Then I'll use that trim off piece on the other side of the panel. Again, I'm using foam tape. Just adhere that slightly and no one will notice that that's cut out and there is no actual piece of that plant behind the seat. So I'm just trying to figure out where I want that second piece of the leaves from the plant to go. So I decided to go on the right side. Again, I'm adding that piece of foam tape on the back. Now I'm just gonna add foam tape around the card on both sides. From the bottom end, the bottom portion I will add on the top, and the one that goes in front with the circle die cut I will add on the bottom. I'm just looking to see if everything fits nicely. I just need to trim a little bit off that foam tape. I'll remove the backing. And adhere those together. Next we're going to adhere the rest of the elements. So I'm again adding some foam tape and form squares to add that together. And lastly we have the wine glass. I'm adding a tiny piece of foam tape on that one. So to finish off the card, I'm adding some highlights using white gel pen. Kind of makes the images pop a little bit more. And I'm adding clear lacquer pen onto the wine glass, onto the wine part of the glass. So now we can use fun foam to adhere the panel onto a top folding Dove white note card. So here's a little close-up. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for my channel, also my blog, for more ideas and more inspiration. Thanks for watching, and see you soon. Bye!